Okay, good morning. Good morning. Well, looks like Ramen is busy today, and for some reason, I'm gonna have to get my computer into the shop. I think I'll have to do that here real soon because, yes, I do have a lot of tabs open, but it took me 4 tries to get the stream to go. Well, it took me 3 tries to get the music to play, then 4 tries to get the stream to go live. All I got is that whirly circle saying, we're waiting, we're trying. And there's no reason for that to be happening. This is making me cry. It really is. And I don't want to spend money on a computer right now. Do I have it? Yes. But do I want to? No. That's emergency money. It's not computer and play around money, but if I gotta, I gotta. But man, it's going to irritate the hell out of me if I got to do that. But anyway, guys, I hope you all had a good weekend. I know I did. Got this. Well, hey, good morning, Ramen. I know I had a good weekend. Did a little cooking, did a lot. I could not believe I actually slept this weekend. And the wife she knows that I don't get a whole heck of a lot of sleep. Whoa, what's that? Where is this coming? I There we go. I'm getting mute. Killed that. Okay. Good God have mercy. I hope I don't get any more audio popping up. I don't know. Up until 1 session 0 D&D. Good Lord, kill me now. Oh man, I tell you, I'm getting so. Uh, I want to play D&D again, but I want to play the old style. I don't want to play this new crap. I really don't. I want to play the D&D that I played back in the early 80s, back in the late 70s. Well, when I first started playing back in 77, all the way up to about 88, I would guess. So that's the D&D I want to play. Nice and simple. Graph paper, your character sheet, pencil, eraser, and dice. That's all that is needed. No miniatures, no uh, dice. Dice towers were a neat invention to keep the dice from going all over the place and somebody rolled the dice stupidly. But it was fun watching the dice, go around go across the table. That was and just sit there and playing that way. Didn't have to pull the dungeon master didn't have to pull some monster out of a bag and put up there for everybody well, I'm going to place my miniature here and he's going to place his miniature there. And no, that I just, when it got to that point, that's when they got rid of Thaco, that just absolutely, and it's like, okay, THACA was a great invention for the game. It made life so much easier. All right. I need to roll a 10 to hit a THACA to hit armor class 0. He's a -5. Gee whiz. And now I got to roll a 15. Okay, now, but I've got my +3. With my +3 sword, I get I need a 10 to hit armor class 0. So all I need is a 15 to hit this character. Matt, it was real simple and easy. And then, let's make it more complicated. Yeah. Yeah, if you rolled a nat 20 with no modifiers, it was an automatic critical hit, double damage. Again, those were the days when life was easy playing the game. Easy and fun and uncomplicated. All they did is make the game more complicated. Now, I didn't mind some of the new monsters they created. I don't like most of the new classes that they've created. All that's gone and done is made the game impossible for for the DM to sit there and understand all the everything. Well, I'm going to be an artificer and this and this and this all rolled into one character. No, you're a fighter, you're a paladin, you're a thief, you're a mage, or you're a cleric or a druid. That's it, no more. The basic ones. Then they went and introduced barbarian. Barbarian wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't a bad class when they introduced it, and it didn't complicate life too much. But then they went and started adding all these other complications. I'd have to grab Dar. So, but anyway, my week, like I said, my weekend, I actually got some sleep in this weekend. The wife took down most of the Christmas decorations. I got to still disassemble the tree and put that away. That's on as soon as the stream is done, that's what I'm going to do. Had a crappy night at work. Really did. Had a crappy night at work Saturday night. Drunk people coming in and raising hell. And I finally eventually just had enough of it and kicked them off property, told them they weren't welcome to come back. Drunk women are horrible. I hate dealing with drunk women. If they, I took them to I gave them the keys to the first room, and the room should have been blocked. I should not have been able to rent them that first room. That was no problem. Okay, I apologize for that. Here, let me get you into another room. I went down, looked at the first room to verify things, and all right, fine. Took them to the second room. I went in and inspected the room first before I gave them the keys. And then she walks in and starts making outlandish claims about the room. And I'm like, oh, no. We're not having this. We're not going to have this. And Fireball. I haven't had Fireball in a long time. The actual whiskey, not that other screwed up mess. Spanky, are you cold? Oh, and speaking of cold, the week of January 8th. Have y'all seen the weather forecast for that week? It's up here where I live in the panhandle of Florida. It's supposed to get down into the low 20s. No, I don't want that. But highs in the low 50s, high 40s, lows in the low 20s. And you people down south there, Ramen, y'all ain't going to have it much better. Your lows are supposed to be in the high 20s. No. That's too cold. When it gets down for the lows are supposed to get down into the low 30s, where I got to worry about my pipes freezing. That's too damn cold. But I've got plenty of warning here. I go out and re-insulate all my outdoor pipes. So I got plenty of warning. I don't have to worry about my, I don't want to worry about my pipes freezing. But man, this is ridiculous. So just, heads up, Ramen. The week of January 8th, take a look at your forecast and start. If you got anything that you need to take care of that week, try to take care of it earlier. It's going to get cold. I'm so glad I'm not in Northern Tiers. I'm so glad I'm not up in Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Wyoming, Montana. Then people going to be frozen to have their toes frozen to the ground. We just got to worry about iguanas falling out of the trees and pipes blowing up and high electric bills. But wife said she may even crawl underneath my electric blanket with me. That week. But see, this weekend, on top of the good stuff that happened to me this weekend, there's some stuff that happened that wasn't so good. Linda Lavin. She was in her late 80s. She was in a show called Alice. It ran for about 9-10 years. It was a sitcom. After that, she spent most of her time on stage. She died of lung cancer. I'm sorry to see her go because not super fanboy or anything, but I mean, this was somebody that I watched as a child on television, and the show was actually, for a sitcom, it was actually a good show. It wasn't a brain killer. So I that was sad to see that happen. Then another person from back when I used to watch football a lot, Bryant Gumbel. Yes, he's that Gumbel's brother. He also died of cancer this weekend. As a sports analyst, he was very fair. Especially, he wasn't a big fan of the teams that I was a fan of. Ohio State, Cleveland Browns. He really liked the Steelers and the Oakland Raiders. Yes, I said Oakland Raiders. But he also died of cancer this weekend. And again, this is just somebody that when I cared about football, where I watched the analyst shows and such, he's one of the guys that I watched and listened to. And he was a good, he was somebody I paid attention to. And finally, the one that's getting all of the headlines and news, Jimmy Carter also died this weekend. From 100 years old. He was a good, I actually voted for Carter. I think I voted for Carter. Peanut farmer out of Georgia. He made in my opinion, he made a better former president than he made president. He was the face of Habitat for Humanity. He was the face. He's the one that brought the national focus on that organization. And the number of homes that his participation in that organization that were built because he brought it to national attention, because he gave it the gravitas, this is actually one that is good. He gave them a brand that made them noteworthy, somebody that you could trust. And I was in the Air Force during his administration. Those of us that in our 60s and older that remember the fall of Tehran, the takeover of our embassy, and the lack of ability of the Carter administration to rescue the hostages. That is something that will leave a stain on his presidency. But he was a career naval officer. He nuclear subs. And was he a bad president? He wasn't one of the worst presidents. He just, I guess you'd say, mediocre presidency. He just happened to have the bad luck, the misfortune to have the hostage takeover, and he was not of the backbone of other presidents and he didn't have the international fear of him that, face it, there are some presidents that we've had that foreign leaders would not act in certain ways because they were afraid of what that American president would do in retaliation. while others have allowed things, the foreign leaders and organizations had no fear of. And Carter, in my opinion, was one of those presidents. I gas lines under Carter, buying gas depending upon your license plate every other day, even day, odd days for being able to get gas. Gas prices going up over $1 under him. But then I'm also old enough to remember buying gas for my dirt bike at 25 cents a gallon. So, Carter, let's face it, Carter was when they wheeled him out to vote this year, okay, this is what they brought out to vote. And I thought at that time we were looking at a corpse in a wheelchair. But that's who they said was able. I mean, they said he was able to cast a vote. He had the mental capacity to cast a vote. To me, that looked like a corpse in a wheelchair. But that's everybody is welcome to their own opinion of Carter. I'm not wanting to get into a big argument over him. I'm just expressing my opinion of him. If somebody else has a different opinion of him, then I'd be more than glad to listen to it. But that wasn't the only thing that's gone on this weekend. There was a football game, Arkansas football game. And one of the players, a sophomore, or was he a junior? Really dirty player. Okay, he's a junior, so he's got one. He may have one more year left playing football. And I've said before, I don't watch a lot of football games, especially college games. Okay. Ever since they introduced NIL, which takes effect next year, some of these players are going to be getting, one player, name, image, and likeness. One player is looking like he's going to get over 10. This is a college player, not professional. College player is going to get a $10 million contract. Let's see, did I get the volume shut off on this? Yeah. Let's go ahead and watch what happened here. This is this scumbag, Fernando Camano Jr. And yes, I do believe he should be banned. He should not be allowed to play next year at all. I I would hope that no professional team would pick him up.
Baskerville has broken his silence after an arc.
You see him intentionally stomping on another player's ankle here. That was no accident. He stomped on that player's ankle. This was at the fourth quarter of the game. The game was all but over. There's only a few minutes left in the game. And he walks over and stomps on another player's ankle for the opposing team. Now, supposedly, here's another, oh, come on. Here's another look at that play. Come on. Well, that looks like it's not going to play. Oh, there it goes. The man the guy tweeted out that now the player that got his Baskerville, the player that got his ankle stomped on, said this: "There's no denying that Arkansas played a great game last night, and I'm not taking that away from them. But number 55, Fernando Carmona, blatantly stepping on my ankle, pressing down on it on purpose, is straight up dirty." Proceeds to say, "Got your BA, got your bitch ass. Do better, Arkansas." That guy should be Carmona. You know, the refs didn't do anything about it at the game. There's been no announcement by the Arkansas team as to what's going to happen. There's been nothing from the NCAA about anything. And they want to know why fans, college football fans, aren't watching games like they used to. I don't even watch professional games the way I used to. My beloved Browns, they played this weekend. I didn't watch 2 seconds of the game. I just paid attention to the score. Every 20 minutes or so, I'd go and pull up the score to see how bad Cleveland was losing. So, and that's a personal joke. I always say that one about a Cleveland Browns game. Hey, Digi, good morning to you. I hope you had a pleasant weekend, my friend. But yeah, I mean, the Cleveland lost to the Miami 20-3. What can I say? Cleveland just isn't a team much anymore. And then I have hopes that next weekend that they beat the Ravens, simply because next to the Steelers, I detest the Ravens. The Steelers, I've had a detestment. I've detested the Steelers since I was a kid. The Ravens since since their inception. Now, Fernando did issue an apology. But it was a weak-ass apology. Yeah. I'd like to apologize for my actions last Friday night at the Liberty Bowl. I let my emotions get away from me. I have nothing but respect for Texas Tech in the game of football. I apologize to my team and coaches. I'm not that kind of player, and we'll learn from this. You are that kind of player because you did it. As the article says, you were flagged in the first quarter of the game for unsportsmanlike conduct when you bumped a player out of bounds after a play. You are that type of football player. And I hope like hell that Arkansas steps up and says that you will not be playing next year. And if they don't, I hope the NCAA steps in and disqualifies you from playing next year. And I hope that any chances you ever had of becoming a professional player was just killed. You don't deserve it. I don't like dirty players. I don't like players who try to intentionally hurt other players. Football's a rough sport, yes. I played a little bit until I got my ribs sprung as a wide receiver. I said, no, I don't like this kind of pain. Nah, this isn't for me. And that was just a normal hit. That wasn't a dirty hit at all. It was just a normal hit. Fact is, one of my own players during a scrimmage game with my own teammates. So, yeah, I mean, people get hurt playing football. That's a given. But to intentionally stomp on somebody's ankle, to possibly ruin their chances of ever playing football again, you don't deserve a chance to play football again. It's that simple. There's some people that just don't deserve it. And Carmona, you are one of them. Now, I said earlier that, some of these players are going to be making some serious money. Let's see, I can close that tab, get that whirly thing to quit spinning around. And I can close that tab. And the NIL. Starting in 2025, some colleges will be able to directly give money to athletes outside the school's collective. Schools will be able to dish out $20 million to the athletes. So are they really going to be student athletes anymore if they start getting paid to play football? And will and will teams then be, I mean, face it, a strong college team has a better chance of recruiting strong players than a weaker college team does. But now that you're going to throw money in onto this, these kids are going to start getting paid. It's going to be a pay to play. We'll pay you. We'll make sure you got a great NIL license, and getting Nabisco and Wheaties and whoever makes those. It's like what's her name? That Reese woman from the WNBA. She's got her face on Reese's Pieces cereal. Reese's chocolate cereal. She's getting paid big bucks for that. The average college student earns $3,400 a month. A football player at Auburn earns $7,400 a month. I wouldn't mind earning $7,400 a month just for somebody using my likeness. Now, the article says most college athletes are only going to earn around $500 a month with the total earnings of about $2,100. These kids are no longer, they're going to be athletes first because that's where their money is. And student second. Here's the article I saw that, let's see, Dylan Gabriel, who transferred from Oklahoma to Oregon, becoming one of the top 10 nil earners on three set. His nil valuation is $1.7 million. Signed deals with Brands Unlimited, Beats by Dre, and Celsius. Nico, whoever, $1.9 million. Okay. And the Athletic reported that he earned or signed an $8 million deal with the Collective. So Carson Beck was his $1.9 million. On trading cards, Zero FG, energy drinks, and the Players Lounge. Private jet company Airstar Charter, and with Chipotle. Cam Ward of Miami. A $1 million increase over his 934, so almost $2 million is what he's going to be getting paid. $2.1 million, this Jackson Dart character. Remember, these are college kids. These aren't pro football players. These are college ball players. $2.2 million. Quinn Ewers. Let's see. What's this? Not saying what okay, he's got, so he's probably well over $2 million. $2.2 million there. Archie Manning of Texas. $3.1 million. Here's another Travis Hunter, a $3.1 million. And the shooter Sanders, $5.1 million. College ball players. Absolutely. I mean, what are they going to be asking for when they go, when and if they turn pro? From Cocoa Puffs. Hey, morning, Neil. You know, I can remember, and maybe, you know, this is that grumpy old man time here. I remember kids being held back from playing on a game because they got a C on a test and their grade point average dropped because of that C. So they couldn't play a game because they didn't have a chance to do a makeup test to get their grades back up. And I'm talking first string players being held back from playing a game because they didn't get a good grade on the test. And it made the news. So won't be playing because his grade point average dropped. And now they got kids making millions of dollars. Where do you think they're going to spend their time? Do you think they're going to spend their time studying and earning that degree? Or are they going to be putting all their times towards getting on that football field and trying to make it into the pros? And I don't mind, you know, again, if they've got the skill and the talent to make it into the pros, man, God bless them. I hope they take serious the issues, the tax liabilities with being a professional player. And you know, they learned from the lessons from the what other players, you know, go out and start chicken franchises, and then 10 years later, they're dead ass broke. They've had to sell everything off. You know, the first thing they do is go out and, you know, as a pro, go out and buy a big old house and luxury cars. And then turn out they got to declare bankruptcy because they just don't have the money because they didn't realize how much that money was going to be going to taxes. Because these, you know, pro players got to pay taxes, you know, in every state that they play in. So these kids got. No, I'm not jealous of them making money. Good Lord, no, I'm not jealous of them making money. I'm happy when anybody shows the skill, the initiative, the hard work it takes to become a professional athlete and earn good money to, improve their lives, improve the lives of their family members and everything else that goes along with that. And for some families, that's they drag that one person drags their whole family up out of poverty or near poverty. That's always a wonderful thing to see when it happens, and the families are grateful, and they wisely husband that wealth and turn it into what's been, everybody calls generational wealth. That kind of stuff always makes me happy to see. But college kids need to, they've got to earn, they're in college. They're supposed to be getting degrees. And I've always been the one guy that said that a college kid that's got an athletic scholarship, they're getting paid to go to college. Because kids that don't have scholarships, the athletic or education scholarships, whatever, they're paying that tuition out of their pocket. Or, they've signed loans for those, to pay for those tuitions. Whereas these other kids, are being paid by the college because of their ability to be a great athlete, or because they've got an educational scholarship or other types of scholarships. So, yeah, Digi, we talked about that a little bit. I was not a big fan of Carter as president, and his post-presidency life, especially with Habitat for Humanity, I've got nothing but praise for. The man he was one of the best post-presidency presidents that I know of. He's right up there, number one, for his activities in this post-presidency with his work with Habitat for Humanity. As a president, I would, my personal, mediocre at best. He put Habitat for Humanity on the map. Without him, I don't think Habitat for Humanity would have gone on to be able to build the number of homes that they were able to do. I don't want to crap on the man that just, because he died recently. I'd probably be more verbally critical of him if I was talking about him while he was still alive. But I'm not one to, short of somebody who's actually, a Saddam Hussein type character, I don't normally speak. I try not to speak ill of the dead, especially the recently deceased, because families are still grieving. And I want to show respect for the families that are grieving for their loved one. Because, again, everybody, we're all human and we all have places in our lives that we were not the best human that we could have been at that point in time. And I would hate to have somebody speaking only of that portions of my life to my family members. So, but like I said, as far as the presidency goes, in my estimation, and just my personal opinion, mediocre at best. He wasn't a bad president, but he wasn't a good president, a great president either. But his post-presidency with Habitat for Humanity, nobody of any, should be able to fault him for that. He really pulled out a lot of good stuff with that. Okay, so done talking about that. The next issue I had up here on my little agenda is HB1 visas, because that's been in the news here quite a bit lately. Between Laura Loomer and Trump, Ramaswamy and Elon, everybody's getting their stuff caught up into that. So, first of all, let's take a look at exactly what an H-1B visa is. Just so that we're all singing off the same sheet of music here. And just as, as a short thing, the H-1B visa is a non-immigrant visa that allows U.S. employers to temporarily employ foreign workers in specialty occupations. These occupations typically require a bachelor's degree or equivalent in a specific field. The H-1B visa workers can work in the U.S. for a maximum of 6 years and are eligible to apply for employment green cards. So usually they're technical workers, actors, or models. That's what these people are, or supposed to be. Yeah, I'm a fungal spore. I am that. But we've got, so the problem is the H-1B visa. Let's see here. Where can I find it here? I had it up and I lost in everything. Okay, here we go. The U.S. caps the number of H-1B visas at 6,500 new visas each year, although an additional 20,000 can be granted with those that have a master's degree or higher. The visa is valid for 3 years, but can be extended for an additional 3 years. However, the U.S. approves extensions each year for people already working on H-1B visas. A 2023 report noting the agency granted a green light to more than 309,000 requests for continuing employment under the visa program. More than 7 in 10 recipients, 70% of H-1B visas come from India, followed by China. So 80% of H-1B visas come from India and China, with only 10% from China. So what are the 70% of these Indian visas, H-1B visas? They're in Silicon Valley for the most part. Software. The problem is there's been a lot of issues with this. A lot of fraud. And I put in this search engine, HB1 visa fraud convictions. And 443,000 results. 2024 received this Parasad 52 multiple convictions this past November. 2016, some brothers visa fraud. 2019, visa fraud. 2016, indictments. 2017, New York couple sentenced for visa fraud. Phony documents for visa fraud. So, there is a lot of visa fraud out there that happens. And again, since 70% of the visas come from India, you can imagine that a large number of some of the convictions are involving Indians living in the United States. Such as this one here, 3 Indian origin individuals, owner of a California-based staffing program, visa fraud, submitting fraudulent H-1B visa applications, falsely claiming job placements for foreign workers at non-existent positions. But that's not the only thing that these companies do. This here's a 2019 article. Okay, opponents of job outsourcing are making a holiday appeal to President Trump. This is, from his first presidency. Stop U.S. companies from forcing American workers to train the very same cheaper foreign workers who will soon replace them. All right, AT&T. This year's from 2019. All right. AT&T is poised to send thousands into the new year hunting for new jobs after assigning them to train their own foreign replacements. Many worked for the company for over a decade. They aren't being offered severance or early retirement and may not find a comparable job elsewhere at similar pay. Why? Because all the technical jobs were being hired out to HB1 visas. Because they can hire the foreign immigrant cheaper than they have to pay a U.S. citizen. And it's just not AT&T back in 2019. Disney did the same thing. See, all the big umbrella companies have done it. Not just small companies, but these big companies have done it too. Have hired people, brought in people, HB1 visas, to work in technical fields that we've got people here in the United States, especially computer sciences fields, that are as qualified to do the job. But the companies would rather hire the HB1 visa people, the foreign nationals, to do it because they'll work cheaper. Personally, I am for further reductions of the HB1 visa program. I would love to see a cap, period. Sorry, we have no more HB1 visa positions open. Just as you have a company that you've got a company that can have 15 employees. You don't hire 30 employees to cover 15 positions. We've got the personnel who are trained, have got the degrees to work in these technical fields here in the United States. There is no reason to be bringing over other foreign nationals to take American jobs. This is my argument. It's the same argument I have against illegals. You're bringing in illegals to work. They work at a lower rate of pay than citizens do. Companies save money. That's not saying they don't offer their product cheaper. The company just saves money and earns a bigger profit, or are able to put more money in their pocket. So let's cap the number of H-1B visas, period. We're allowed 200,000 HB1 visas in the United States, period. End of conversation. That covers actors, technical fields, models. I don't care. There's a cap on the number of visas. Oh, so-and-so's extending their visa? Okay, that's included in that cap. 200,000, that's it, or 100,000. That's it, no more. I think 100,000 is too many. How many foreign technical workers are there that are that much better than American workers? That are more highly trained than American workers? Now, brain surgeon? Hey, we got a brain surgeon from India, and a hospital needs a brain surgeon, and there's not one available in the United States to hire. Bring him on over. Nuclear physicist? Bring them on over. But not his HB1 visa. Make him offer him citizenship. Now, you got a natural beauty that's coming over to work as a model. You got an actor, Patrick Stewart. Okay. Hugh Laurie, William Shatner. These are all foreign-born actors. And a company wants to bring them in to act in a TV series or in a movie here in the United States. Bring them on in on an HB1 visa. That's fine. But somebody with a bachelor's degree, they just got their bachelor's degree in computer sciences, that doesn't need to be an HB1 visa. Unless you can show me there are no one in the United States, there are no unemployed computer sciences bachelor degree holders that need a job. You can show me that there's nobody in the United States that has a bachelor's degree in computer sciences. Because otherwise, hire the American. Oh, this idea of America first. We hear that being quoted quite a bit by Trump and a lot of Trump supporters. But is it really American first when you're pushing HB1 visas and you want to increase the number of HB1 visas, or you're not willing to decrease the number of HB1 visa holders? And rather than putting FBI agents out there looking into the Catholic Church or PTA meetings or school board meetings, let's put some of those FBI agents out there looking into HB1 visas. And find out who's abusing those, which companies are abusing them, which people are abusing them. And find the hell out of them or imprison a few CEOs for violating the HB1 visa laws. Let's get Americans put back to work in these jobs that they went to school for and got trained for. And maybe, just maybe, the feminists and the liberals love to cry the lack of women in STEM fields. Well, maybe, just maybe, if we weren't hiring out to foreign nationals jobs in STEM fields, maybe, just maybe, more women would apply for STEM field training in colleges and go to work in these STEM fields. But as long as we're not hiring Americans to work in the STEM fields, why are people going to bother going into them when they can't be guaranteed a job? Because they know the chances are that they're going to get hired into the job and then turn around and train their replacement. I'll go back. This happened to me when I was 18 years old. I was working for a television station as an engineer slash cameraman slash lighting slash audio, doing it all. Low man on the tone pole, did them all, learned all aspects of setting up a studio. The station was being sold to a religious organization. So the FCC stepped in because FCC's got at the time, they still do. They have to approve the sales of television stations, radio stations, and such, because you have to be licensed to use the airwaves. I got to mute here for a second. Okay, I'm back. Well, the FCC said, well, there's too many white people working at this TV station. This is 1977, 1978. You got too many white people working here. You need more, particularly white men. You need more women and minorities working here. This is back in the bad old days of affirmative action. Now it just goes under DEI. So they hired a black guy. They went out and hired a couple of black women and hired a black guy. And I was told to train the black guy in the basics of setting up videotapes and film on the film island. Just the very basics. Took me about a week and a half to train him to where he was doing it proficiently. I didn't know that I was training my replacement. But as soon as he got proficient, I was handed my walking papers. Because the FCC said that they needed more minorities working at the station. Now, under HB1 visa, they could have, same thing could have happened. But I'd be training somebody from another country that was willing to work for less money than I was being paid. Because I actually had the equivalent of a 2-year degree in television and radio broadcasting on the technical end. I had my FCC license. Back in those days, you actually had to go and take a test to get your FCC license as in the engineering staff. Nowadays, I don't think you have to. But anyway, that is the drag down that this does, HB1 visas do to the American labor force. We're taking college kids, trying to get a good education in STEM fields, and they're competing against foreign nationals that come in and are willing to work cheaper. Because the companies can get HB1 visas. And part of the scam that these companies do on the HB1 visa is, let's see if I can find this article. again. That's not the article I was looking at. Where is it? What the shoot, I can't find the article. Where is it now? That's not it. What they were doing is companies would file multiple H-1B visa requests under very common names for whatever country they were looking for. Since 70% come from India, so 70% of those would be under Indian names. Well, then they would find out, they would get, let's say they filed 50 requests and they got lucky. They got 25 approved. Now, at that time, they didn't have 50 people lined up ready to hire. They're looking to see how many requests they got approved. Then they'd go out and look for people with those names that they could hire from that country. That's what they would do. Another thing they would do is they put down that they were going to pay that person $43,000 a year. But when they went out and hired them, they'd hire them for $35,000. The HB1 visa said 43. They actually hire them at 35. That gives them $8,000 put, that the government thought they were spending that they're not. Again, and it's not just that one case of AT&T or small places, small businesses. But it's every one of these big companies. Every one of them. They're all abusing it. And they all want the HB1 visa increased. I'm in the ones that want to see the program. I mean, ideally, I'd like to see the program eliminated. Or as I said earlier, very severely restricted. If they've got over 300,000 people in the United States right now on HB1 visa program, that's 250,000 too many. You can't tell me they've got that many actors and actresses and technical workers, actors and actresses. Yeah, okay, I can understand those. Models, I can understand that. But you can't tell me you got that many technical workers in the United States filling jobs that no American worker can do. No American college graduate can do. I find that extremely difficult to believe. And anybody who does believe it at the drop of a hat, I think I may have a bridge to sell them. Or you may be like that lady that really loved her Christmas tree this year, thought it was the best tree she's ever owned. So she went out in her backyard and dug a hole and planted it. Filled a bunch of fertilizer into it, then planted the Christmas tree. Said she's going to keep it alive to use it again next year. Okay, ladies. I really find that difficult. All right, let's see. I've already talked about Linda Lavin. And see, Britain, if you ever watch, I can't remember the name of the border security. It's mostly about Australia, but they do British, and they've even done British and Canadian and some American border security at. But in Britain, they've got a whole task force. Australia also, of people that do nothing but go down and track down visa workers or people in the country on visas and see if they're living up to the conditions of their visa. Or if they're, especially people who've overstayed their visas, they go and track them down. Maybe I'm a little ignorant of the fact, but sure, I think that should be nice if the United States did that. Went out. This is an expansion of the federal government I wouldn't mind seeing. One of the few expansions. Having the U.S. Customs Service actually going out, Customs and Immigration Services, going out and people that are here on a visa, tracking them down. You say you're here on a college educational visa, that's fine. What college you going to? What course load are you carrying? What grades are you carrying? Oh, you aren't taking classes this semester? And you're working over here? Well, you don't have a working visa. You got a student visa. It's time for you to go back to your home country. Oh, you're working here as a barista, but you are here on a visa, HB1 visa for working in a telecom. It's time for you to go back to wherever you came from. I wouldn't mind the IRS wanted to hire, what was it, 20-some thousand new agents to track down tax cheats on middle-class workers. Let's put 20,000 immigration workers out there. Track and put 5,000 of them out there just doing nothing but tracking down visa. That I wouldn't mind seeing happen. Let's get some of these jobs back into American hands. Let me see if I can find that report. I'm going to close these tabs here. Okay, I don't need that tab open anymore. Okay, here we go. Jobs report reduced. Okay, here we go. The U.S. All right, so let me share this. Remember that, back prior to the election, the media and the Biden administration was pushing, whoops, was pushing, how great the economy was under Biden, how many new jobs were being. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics revised down its estimate of total jobs in March of 2024 by 818,000. That means there are 818 fewer job gains than first believed in April of 2023 through March of 2024. Unfreaking believable. Then there was another one that they just put out. Where's the latest one? In the past week. Come on. Okay, I can't find the article right now, but it was another 500,000 jobs that was that the Labor Department for last quarter, for 2 quarters ago. I'm sorry. 2 quarters ago, it was 500,000 jobs that they over-reported. Now, I wish I could find that article again real quick, but it's not showing up. And the problem with this is, okay, they've got all these, the government lied in how many jobs were created to make Biden and Kamala look good. Okay, we expect that. Just like we expect them to go the other direction under Trump. But the problem with it, though, is now Trump's going to have to, all this bad news is going to be coming out under Trump's administration now for the next 6 months. And they're going to sit there and say, well, this is all Trump's fault. This is all Trump's fault. So it's not good news no matter how we go. Okay. Now, as far as this last bit here, boy, Digi, I'm surprised you're still here, because usually you've had to leave for work by now. I kept looking at chat to see if you had to leave for work yet. But anyway, we've got the New Year's coming in tomorrow. And I tell you what I'd like to do. All right. If you guys are up for it, I'd sort of like, cause it's going to be the last stream of the year. And I won't be streaming on the first. But so tomorrow I'd like to do an open stream for a couple hours, as long as everybody, understands, let's keep the language, fairly clean. Occasional hell or damn, I don't mind, but let's leave the F-bombs at home. Okay, Neil. And let's talk, what do you remember most about this past year? What's been good to you for this past year? What are your hopes for next year? Unless there's some grand breaking news in the next 24 hours, 22 hours, unless there's some breaking news in the next 20, earth-shaking news, I'd like to do that tomorrow. Just make it an open stream. Let's try to, talk about this past year, what everybody's done, what they've had good, bad, and different, what they hope for next year, and see how all that goes. So let's do that, and we'll have the stream last as long as it lasts then tomorrow. Within reason, say up to 3.5, maybe 4 hours, but that's about all. Because I do have to work tomorrow night. So, but anybody who wants to come on tomorrow, let's go ahead and do that. And we'll just have fun with it tomorrow. I already know I'll come to stroke of midnight. I will be at work. So I won't get my New Year's kiss until I get until 7:30-ish on the morning of the 1st. That's when I'll get my New Year's kiss. But that's okay. This will probably be my last New Year's I have to work. Because it may be 6 or 7 years before the next one falls on a night that I would be working on. Well, no, because it could roll around on a Saturday too. So, but anyway. But as far as today goes, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. I got a kitchen to get cleaned up, some butter to make, and some bread to bake. So I want everybody to have a good, and Christmas tree to tear down. So everybody, y'all, have a good day. Enjoy yourselves. And let's look forward to the new year coming in to us tomorrow night. All right? Have a good day. And of course, be with the ones you love and love the ones that you're with.